You could feel like you have no control over it. I want you to remind yourself, yes, you do have control. Yes, you can turn these things around. Yes, you can choose a different outcome. You can choose a different story. Always. You can always do that because it's always available to you. Now that you're here, before we start the video, if you haven't done so already, I would love to invite you to come and join the free Discord community and to also get your free copy of the Manifest My Dream Life ebook. The link for both of those will be in the description below. Other than that, let's go ahead and get into the video. So I want to know if any of you have ever experienced a reality where you feel like things are working against you, where it looks like things aren't working in your favor. Your 3D is showing you the total opposite of what you may be affirming for, and things just don't seem to be going your way. But what if I told you that even though things seem that way, they're actually still working in your favor because you're the one who gets to assign meaning to everything? That's what I want to talk about in this video today, is how everything is always working out for you. Everything is always working in your favor because you are the creator of your reality. If you are a conscious creator, if you are aware of the law of assumption, even the law of attraction, then you know that you are a conscious creator, which means that your thoughts literally create your reality. No matter what it is that you're thinking, your thoughts are always creating your reality. So, with that being said, you hold all the power in your reality for every single thing. And trust me, I understand when you can be faced with certain circumstances, certain events in your reality that just are not what you were expecting. It's not what you were affirming for. And sometimes those things can make you feel really depleted. It can make you feel defeated, and I get it because I've been there. And the thing is to be mindful, be aware, and realize you still hold all the power. You literally hold all the power. So even when things seem like they're working against you, seemingly not going your way, it's just a perception. And you control your perception. You control your focus. You control everything about your reality. And I feel like it's an art, but I also feel like there's just beauty in realizing those moments where you can take your power back. And I really want to give y'all an example of how you can experience something and it's really just based off of your perception, whatever it is that you're experiencing. So I've given this example before, but it is such a great example to me because it's me personally. At my apartments, I live here and I had a friend that lived here. And I've spoken about this in a previous video. I'm not sure which one, but for me, when I moved here, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this place. They are so clean. The hallways are so clean. It always smells so nice. Like, I don't have any issues out of them. I literally go on there and leave them 5-star reviews because I legit love where I stay. And my friend who lived here before me, they would always just be telling me it is trash. It sucks over here. Cars are always getting broken into. It stinks. They don't clean up. And I'm like, what apartments do you stay at? Because we literally stay in the same building, the same complex, same address, but you're having a totally different experience. And it's just based off of your perception. Because my perception was so, oh my gosh, I love this place. That was legit my experience. Every time I walk outside, they are cleaning the hallways. Every time I come home, it smells like freshener out there. They come and do my maintenance requests super fast. And I will say that cars have gotten broken into over here. Like, I have witnessed that, but my car has never been broken into. And I even had another neighbor tell me, I don't understand why your car never got touched. Like, your car never got broken into. He said his got broken into. Every time he would walk out, he would see this Jeep just untouched. And I'm like, yeah, that was my Jeep. And I just assume that my cars don't get broken into because I've already dealt with that previously, like years and years ago. So for me, that's my experience. But then for my friend, the hallways are dirty, there's trash, it doesn't smell good. And all of that is so wild for me to even think about because I don't experience that. Even when I walk around the building, like sometimes if I have my niece and she wants to go for a walk, we'll just walk around the building and I'm seeing all the other hallways and there's never any trash. It just looks fine to me. But for my friend, even their cars had gotten broken into. So They had a totally different experience in the same building as me just because of their perception. So that is one of the greatest examples that I've experienced in my life where it's like, yes, you can experience the same thing but have two totally different perspectives about it. And the point that I'm trying to make here is you basically have control of your perspective and you can choose to have the best perspective ever no matter what it is. And personally, I do feel like that can be a little bit of a practice for some because you're so used to thinking a certain way. Another example that I can give you is I had a client one time and they were upset about what their partner was doing and their partner wasn't responding to their messages. Their partner didn't come home and she came straight to me. She was like, I need you to give me advice because I don't want to tell my friends because they're going to tell me something else. Like she already knew her friends were going to be like, well, forget him and, X, Y, and Z, because that's a typical response, typical perspective of just automatically assume the worst, right? So when she came to me, she told me all that. I said, okay, listen, you have control over every single thing, including this situation. Even when it seems like you're not in control, trust me, you're still in control of it. So she was like, okay, so what do I do? I said, honestly, you need to decide a new story. Decide a story of how you want this to play out. Do you want him to be sorry? Do you want him to come home and apologize? Maybe he fell asleep. He got too drunk at his friend's house and he fell asleep. So we formulated a new story and I told her, you're just going to persist in this new story. I know you're mad, you're frustrated, you're angry. It's okay. But your thoughts need to be, he is apologizing. He's sorry. He fell asleep at his friend's house. It was an accident. He's coming home today. Like, that's what you need to tell yourself. And she legit told that to herself and ended up texting me a long message like, girl, you will never believe this. But of course, I'm going to believe it. But she was just like, girl, you're never going to believe this. Everything that we said is exactly what happened. Again, it just proves you have control over every single thing, every situation. And again, you can be faced with a situation, a circumstance that is so depleting of your energy, right? It feels so real and there's how are you going to get out of it? And that can be the conscious mind logically trying to find ways of how you're going to get out of this hole. How is it logically possible that you can turn these things around? But I'm here to tell you that it is still very much possible and you can still absolutely turn things around. And then the last example that I want to give you is I did that recently, not too long ago, and I've already spoken about this, but it's still another great example. Being in the hospital with one of my family members, and they basically just wrote this family member off. It's just like there's nothing else we can do. They just threw their hands in the air, essentially, like nothing. They didn't give us any information, right? And myself, as well as other family members, just refused to accept that. No matter what logic says, no matter what science or medical says, no matter what the circumstance we were faced with said. And knowing that you have control over every single thing, knowing that you can assign whatever meaning you want to assign to every situation that you experience, that's powerful. That is really powerful. So myself, as well as other family members, they were praying, I'm affirming, and still just sticking to the script. Nope, it's this way, and affirming, literally for 24 hours affirming. And the very next day, this family member did something that the doctor said they would never do again overnight. The doctors were honestly stunned, and still to this day, they are stunned to see this family member alive and walking and getting better by the day because they had wrote them off. Literally wrote them off. Wasn't going to make it past a couple of days once they got discharged. Crazy. But to be in a situation like that, a circumstance like that, where it feels so heavy and you could feel like you have no control over it, I want you to remind yourself, yes, you do have control. Yes, you can turn these things around. Yes, you can choose a different outcome. You can choose a different story. Always. You can always do that because it's always available to you. We live in a universe that is full of infinite realities, infinite possibilities, infinite versions of you and everybody else. So no matter what you're seeing, no matter what you're faced with, that's just one out of infinite possibilities. So you don't have to accept that possibility. You could literally change your mind, you could change your perspective, and you can focus on something different. And that's all that it takes, is you stepping into your power, being the creator of your reality, or the co-creator if that resonates, but stepping into that power and deciding what is going to be your truth. And that's what you're getting to do every single day. With manifestation, with being a conscious creator, you're just choosing what your truth is every day. I got a comment, and I think I had responded to it already, but this person feels like, okay, well, what if that's just lying to myself? What if I'm just lying to myself if I say, oh no, it's going to be this way, even though physically, logically, you can see in your reality that it's the opposite. And I just believe that you're never lying to yourself. I believe you're always telling the truth. I feel like all of these words that we know and understand the meanings to, all of these words are just creations as well. Everything is a creation that we're experiencing. And to accept the perspective of lying, then you experience a reality where, there's liars, or you feel like you're lying to yourself. But there's also another perspective to that, where you're not lying to yourself. You're not, trying to fool yourself or fake anything. You are telling yourself what your truth is. And by you continuing to tell yourself what your truth is, you assume that version of yourself, and you assume that version of yourself, your reality has to reflect who you're being. So yeah, if you've always been 5'5", your entire life, and you decide you want to be 5'10", and you start telling yourself, I've always been 5'10", yes, to the logical mind, that can seem like, okay, well, I'm just lying to myself because I clearly see that I am 5'5". But remember, no matter what the situation is, no matter what the desire is that you're wanting to manifest or experience, you have total control over that. And it's just your perspective. So take the perspective away from, well, how is this even going to be possible for me? How could I do this? I mean, the doctor said I'm not going to grow no more, and I'm 5'5". How am I going to be 5'10"? Take your perspective out of that type of reality and put your perspective on, of course, I'm 5'10". I've always been 5'10". And that was the easiest manifestation I ever experienced. Just because logically it may seem like a lie, it's not a lie. It's just you deciding what your truth is. And we all know your dominant thoughts is what your subconscious absorbs and pushes back out to you in your reality. So if you are telling yourself something repeatedly, over and over, that is what you're choosing. That is what you're deciding on, and whether you're deciding that thing all day long, you're deciding it at certain points in your day, you're deciding it, as long as you decide it when you think about it, that's really the most important part. Whenever you're thinking about this thing, whatever it is that you're manifesting, whatever it is you want to experience, whenever you think about that thing, when it pops up in your mind, just make sure your thoughts are aligned with, I have it. I live in that reality now. This is my truth, because it's your perspective. And you can either choose the opposite reality, or you can choose the new story, which in my opinion is your current story, because the moment you choose it, it is instantly true. And it's just up to you to remain in that state of being. So just to go back to, when you deal with circumstances in your reality, right? And you are faced with these things and you're just like, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? And that's a question I've even asked myself before, when you're faced with things like, why me? But what I can tell you is the why me is just, it doesn't benefit you, but it also doesn't make you feel good, And I feel like when you do step into your power and you're just like, okay, how does this benefit me? How can I make this work in my favor? That's where you really experience a powerful shift. Even something so simple, and I know there's probably a good number of people who have experienced this. When you are texting somebody, right, and they don't respond. And this has happened to me, numerous times, where you texting somebody and they don't respond. What do you do in that moment? Why are they not responding to me? And I'm manifesting this person and this isn't working. That's one perspective. Or you can step into your power and remind yourself, you have control over everything. You assign the meaning to every single thing. So instead of seeing that person as, they're ghosting you or they're not texting you back, you can see it as, oh, maybe they just got busy. They're just busy. They got so busy at work, but they can't wait to get back to their phone to message me. Actually, they're always messaging me super fast. Like, I never have to wait on a response from them. It's all about what you're choosing. It's all about what you're deciding on. And when you're able to be aware in moments where you're about to let a circumstance dictate how you feel, how you think, you can take control of that. And you can also use revision to fix things as well. Like, just for me, the way I revise on the spot is, if you've ever like hit your elbow, stubbed your toe, ran into something, and that hurts. I'm always instantly like, that never happened, that never happened, that never happened, that didn't happen, that didn't happen. And the pain that you would feel, the burn, because you know how you like can burn yourself while you're cooking. I use that all the time, and then there's no blister, there's no mark left behind. The pain immediately goes away. It's you always being mindful and being able to choose how things are happening to you. You can either accept what you see in your physical reality, accept the stub on the toe or the burn on the hand or, the ghosting SP. You can accept those things, but then you're just entertaining the reality that you really don't want to experience. So instead of doing that, being mindful, I'm so big on being mindful. Being mindful really does help you because you can catch yourself in moments where you can step into your power instantly, and you usually see a really fast and instant shift. The next time you stub yourself or you burn yourself or something like that, instantly revise it. That never happened. That never happened. That never happened. And we're actually about to do a revision challenge for April with the membership. Just little FYI, if you're interested in doing like revision and stuff like that, or, just practicing revision more, we're going to be doing that next month. But other than that, just remember this: you have control over every single thing in your reality, okay? And even when things seem like they are working against you, they're really not. You can just assign the meaning that it is working in your favor. A really great affirmation that you can take away from this is, everything is always working in my favor. Literally. And you can even use that when you are faced with situations that you just don't even know how to respond to it. If you have something that is going on in your 3D and you literally don't know what to say, everything is always working in my favor. Everything is always working in my favor. You can even say that the circumstance you're faced with isn't real. This isn't real because everything always works in my favor. This isn't real because everything always works in my favor. The one thing I feel like we can't get away from is just repeating something to yourself, especially in moments where, your emotions are heightened, and you're so triggered by something. I want you to step into your power and remind yourself who you are. Remind yourself that you got this. You're the creator of your reality. You call the shots. Nobody else does. You call the shots. So when you think that something is working against you, I want you to remind yourself, no, absolutely not, because things are always working in my favor. And I want you to assign a different meaning to whatever you're faced with, whatever it is. I don't care what the situation is, what the scenario is. Step into your power, okay? It's okay if you still have emotions and feelings. And trust me, when I was in the hospital, I did not feel the greatest. I was super sad. But the one thing I knew I had to do was keep my thoughts in check. And I kept my thoughts in check. I did not allow what I was feeling and what I was seeing to dictate what I was thinking. And that's a really, really important thing I feel like you want to do. Don't allow your feelings and emotions and, the thoughts that come to mind or the visuals that you see to dictate what is possible for you. Because at the end of the day, if you say everything is working in your favor, it really is. It has to, because you're the one who's in control. You're the one who has all the power, okay? So if you have any questions or comments for me, please leave them down below. If you are interested in any of the services, I offer phone and email coaching. I also have group coaching through my membership with YouTube and Patreon. And I also have a self-paced consistency and discipline workshop that is 30 days long. So if you're interested in any of those things, the link is in the description below. If you watch this video until the end, I appreciate you so much, and I will see y'all in the next video.